asked 3 times and I've yet to hear an answer from anybody, and I think Lee probably, this one goes to all 5 of you this time, so I'm not going to exclude you this time. It's been asked, is it envisioned in the future? Because, you know, as a good Boy Scout, we're all prepared for the worst. Okay, so I have to ask, it's been asked, when there is growth aircraft that arrive at LCC, aircraft that were placed on order post-merger, under a data hire seniority integration, will there be allocations for the West pilots to participate in that growth in a super seniority fashion to those airplanes?
To be honest, we haven't even gone that far.
Okay.
But you want us to...
But do you at least, so let me follow. Okay, that's a fair answer.
And the thing, these people can't make those decisions.
No, but do you at least in you're a union leader. Yes. I'm asking you as a union leader. Do you envision advocating that the West pilots share in the future growth of this company?
We have talked about
in a super seniority fashion.
There's 2 issues that we've talked about there, and it's a fair question. Okay, and there's 2 issues, and nobody here makes that decision. Okay, nobody here makes that decision.
Are you saying it'll be based solely on the voting majority of the populace of the union?
No, it's going to. First of all,
we know where that leads us.
The formulations to begin with will be based upon East and West groups together. Okay. Which has been
so if I join in there and I say, look, we got to get a 50-50 split on these A330-200s.
I can't speak to what pilots will decide. I can't speak to that.
You're not going to.
I can't answer an unanswerable question.
Stephen, would you embody that type of idea?
It was envisioned that the flying had to be shared. If, let's say with this fence, they start parking 7.3s and the 190s come. We even talked about the fact that that's not new, that's replacement. That's yours. Okay. If an airplane comes in or another one leaves, that is the plan. You know, I think everyone knows that. 7.3s are going, the 190s are going to replace them. When they come out here, we can't touch that.
How about a movement of aircraft block hours from the West domiciles to Charlotte and Phoenix? Will I follow it as a captain, or will I follow it as a first officer?
You're creating hypotheticals that haven't even been addressed, because that has to be addressed in a committee.
We start going
Lee, would you try to take a shot at what you've heard your...
No, I'm actually, I'm just still dwelling on the representation that no dues will be paid by the West Group.
Right.
No dues will be paid.
Why would you surprised?
Yeah.
I'm
asking, why would you expect us to pay?
Probably the same reason I'm paying Alpha dues right now, because I hate the structure.
Scott, so for Mark, if 50% of the flying is, hey guys, you get these guys to answer how they're going to represent you. Let them try to answer. If 50% of the block hours are moved out of Phoenix and Vegas because the economy is collapsing, but there's growth opportunities in the East, will I follow my airplane as a captain?
See, Jared, let me finish. I hear you. Those are questions that need to be asked and need to be decided by the pilot board with you guys there.
Before we vote.
Can I give you an example of the ultimate fence? Let's say in the Peabody merger, we put a fence around Pittsburgh, lifetime fence. Everyone that's there protected, however you want to put it, just like what value would that fence have now? So those questions have to be asked if a base is going to start shrinking. We do not have the authority, and like you've said, we've appointed reps, we've appointed ourselves. We're going to have elections a lot sooner than 18 months. So let me finish. The first thing we're going to do when we get into session after we win the election is call the Board of Pilot Representatives into session for at least 4 days. Do you think we would tell you that today? Anyway, that's going to be one of the first agenda items that's going to come up in that first couple of days, is to talk about how we're going to protect.
So I'm asking you personally, would you embody super seniority rights for captains on the West to remain captains in this new airline?
And you're not going to get me as the ASAPA officer.
Because that's not your agenda, right? Anybody else can answer?
Because seniority matters.
I'll write the agenda item for you if you'll help me. I'll write it if you'll help me.
As a pilot,
boils down to it. You get your data hire list. You can screw us at your will.
Sir, have you ever got a line yet?
Yes, I did. And my questions were answered. So I got one because the answers are not coming. Because you want to admit that your own lack of integrity is all that motivates you. You're not helping. I understand there were, outside of Nikolai Award, there were negotiations over, is it 4 757s?
3.
3, okay. Were negotiations over that and the E190 arbitration.
Was an arbitration, right?
Okay. And What came out of both of those were not what either side expected. Okay. That's the kind of process. I don't think it's going to be an arbitration, but that kind of process, that negotiation that went over the 375s, the RJ 190. You said 50%. Well, what did an arbitrator say under Alpha? A third. Okay. I don't know what the 7.5 thing came out.
Ratio 60-40.
60-40. So you got 60-40. You got 33-66. They're all his cases.
So are you envisioning that we will
Yes,
have
it would have to
super
be-
seniority to positions if I'm forced to move east? Or am I going to have to assume my position on the list?
Well, CJ, let me say this. Cooler heads would prevail.
I'm cool.
I'm cool too. If individuals sit down and talk and work this out, we can talk about it.
I think it's very disingenuous.
I've already sat down to figure it out. What does this say? Can you comment on this? I'd like the five of you to comment on this. Please, please comment on this.
It's disingenuous, guys. Really at the core, to say that under a governing body, listen, we have Vegas, right? We have Vegas, and there's 100 and I don't know how many pilots up in Vegas. My votes alone, as half of the captain representatives, can roll call Vegas out of existence. I've been on the NBC almost 3 years. I've never once did a roll call vote. I can tell you unequivocally that the token members that are placed into the USAPA leadership as West representatives will be the same as the Vegas representatives in RMBC, that they'll never be able to run anything on their own through. It'll be the tyranny of the group that wants data hire as the standard of bidding practice. It's just disingenuous not to have the balls to stand up here and say, you know what, CJ, you're right. That's the way it's going to be. That's what I believe in.